Hi, my name is John Whitehead. I'm an executive and leadership coach, and welcome to this week's video blog post. As we continue the journey exploring Kouzes and Posner's work, The Leadership Challenge, we now come to the next practice. Now, in their work, they have 5 practices of what they say exemplary leaders demonstrate in their role as leaders in organizations, what they do to make great things happen in organizations. And those 5 practices are modeling the way, inspiring a shared vision, challenging the process, enabling to others to act, and encourage the heart. And as we've talked about in the past, each one of those 5 behaviors have what they call two commitments. So there's 10 commitments in total. And each one of those practices also has 6 behaviors. And what I've been doing is I've been going through each one of those practices and their 6 behaviors one by one over the past number of weeks. We now come to the 4th practice, which is enabling others to act. And within that practice, there are those 2 commitments. And those two commitments are fostering collaboration by building trust and facilitating relationships. So let me say that again. So these are what leaders do to enable extraordinary things to happen in organizations, right? Exemplary leadership leaders do. So the first one is fostering collaboration by building trust and facilitating relationships. The second commitment within this practice of enabling others to act is strengthen others by increasing self-determination and developing competence. Let me say that again. Strengthen others by increasing self-determination and developing competence. So if you don't have this book in your library, I do strongly recommend, obviously, because I'm talking a lot about it, I do recommend that you go out and find it. It is not a difficult read. It's a heavy book, figuratively and literally in some ways, but it's really not a heavy read. You can see, there's a lot of graphics in it, quite easy to go through. So I do recommend and suggest that you find this book. Now, in enabling others to act, when I think of leadership, I think of leadership, right? Leading a team of people, helping that team of people find their own way, to help them succeed. If I was to ask you what's your definition of leadership, I'm sure we'd have lots of different definitions come forward. It is, for me, it's about allowing others to reach their peak potential. Of course, there's an overriding arch, right, of getting the job done, completing tasks. But, we can either tell people what to do and when it's needed done, or we can engage them in the process. There's that proverb, right, about teaching people how to fish rather than just feeding them. And so that's kind of how I see leadership, is teaching them how to fish. So enabling others to act is part of that, right? For me anyway, when I hear that, it's giving others the opportunity to grow. Giving the others the opportunity to try things out. You've heard me say this before, that if somebody comes and asks me a question, often I will ask them right back, what do you think you should do? Or what do you think the solution is? Or how do you think we might handle that? Rather than just giving them the answer, because that helps them think it through themselves. And eventually what I'm hoping they'll do is they'll come to me with the solutions, not just looking for the solutions. And so enabling others to act is that overriding piece of doing that. And the first practice, the first behavior rather, in this practice of enabling others to act, and I'm going to read it here, it says, develops cooperative relationships among the people he or she works with. develops cooperative relationships among the people he or she works with, develops cooperating relationships, getting people to work. And for me, when I hear that, I hear listening, asking questions, asking open-ended questions, then listening to the response, engaging others in the conversation, using what you've heard me say before, using a coach approach, by engaging others, getting their ideas and thoughts. So enabling others to act is bringing them along with you, isn't it? So as we go over the next few weeks, we'll look at the other behaviors in this practice, and I hope you'll join me. So again, thank you for listening this week, and we'll talk to you again next week.